This presentation describes methodology for project managers to take a planned, proactive approach to appropriately engage the stakeholders in their project or program. There are many different definitions as to what community or stakeholder engagement is. There are, though, some commonalities or underlying concepts. Common ones are that community engagement is about dialogue and about shared decision making. The benefits of this strategy being better project outcomes and ameliorating risk and outrage. Such an approach also complies with government objectives such as growing Victoria together and a fairer Victoria. There are also less tangible benefits which are not directly DSE outcomes, such as building a healthier community and increasing community capacity. A planned approach to engagement activities also provides a mechanism for ensuring goals are met and accountability. As with any project, a planned approach provides an accountable, understandable, and coherent process to the problem. In essence, the engagement plan sits between the project developer and the project design itself. And, like any other plan, it is constructed using standard project management processes. To simplify the task, there are templates available that equate with the planning or action learning cycle. This starts with scoping the problem through 3 templates: a mind map to generate a list of potential stakeholders in the project, a template to document the negotiables and non-negotiables of the project, and a stakeholder analysis tool to help further understand the stakeholders. From this analysis, it is possible to generate appropriate strategic and operational plans. Now, to illustrate how these templates work, an example could be a simple kitchen renovation project, perhaps funded by your mother-in-law. So, starting with the parameters of the project. For effective engagement, it is particularly important to be clear in communications with stakeholders, clearly defining those aspects of a project that are in fact non-negotiables, such as government policy, enables all stakeholders to focus discussions on those areas that they can have input into. As well as this template, an additional tool to help clarity in communication is the communication spectrum. This matrix provides concise definitions to common communication terms used between those with power and those without around any decision. It is based on both talking and listening. If the intention is merely to inform people of a decision already made, it is not productive to use the word consult. A common side effect of misinformation is cynicism, leading to disinterest in being involved in the future. These tools are useful background to the first step in developing an engagement plan, which is to consider who the stakeholders in the project might be. Typically, the range and number initially appears quite daunting. The World Bank advocates drawing up a long list, followed by a short list. An alternative is to use a mind map, such as this, with some groups created. These potential stakeholders might be internal to the organization, and they might be external. There might be some with considerable power, others with little. However, once identified, a stakeholder analysis tool can help identify how to proceed with each stakeholder. There are a number of stakeholder analysis tools available, but a simple one is to plot each stakeholder or stakeholder group against both their interest in the outcome of the project and the resources or power that they have to influence the outcome. A useful way is to first rank the shortlisted stakeholders against their perceived interest in the project, spending a little time to make sure the ranking order is right. A good way is to first choose the extremes and then fill in the rest. Once this order has been decided, it has been possible to rank the stakeholders on the other axis, that is, by the power they have to affect the negotiables in the project. This results in stakeholders being in different quadrants that provides an indication of the level at which they should be engaged. The act of carrying out the analysis provides an opportunity for discussion and deliberation in itself. As a rough rule of thumb, an interpretation of this analysis is that those with a high stake and high resources are natural collaborators. Those with a high stake but low resources collaborate to involve. This is the group you have to make special efforts to engage, and where if done poorly, the outrage will come from. Those with low stake and low resources consult to inform, but they might change during the life of the project. And finally, those with low stake but high resources. Our natural inclination is to over-engage this group, but often the most important thing is just to keep them informed. So on the basis of this analysis, a stakeholder engagement plan can be created. This uses the results of the stakeholder analysis in conjunction with the engagement spectrum to provide a planned method to engage each stakeholder. The final part of this process is to plot a timeline to the activities. Thus, a useful additional template is the Diverge Converge template. This helps plot how to engage stakeholders through the decision-making process over time. Now, there are many tools and techniques that can be used dependent on the project and stakeholders. Some commonly used ones are semi-structured interviews for engaging individuals with power or technical knowledge, kitchen table discussions that allow small groups time and space to contribute, speak-outs to ensure all the voices are heard, world cafes to enable many people to hear each other and develop common ground, and open houses to provide information and allow feedback. Thus, to sum up, it is possible to plan a structured process with well-considered tools to enable the real benefits of community engagement to surface with none of the pitfalls of holding a public meeting.